Okay guys, so welcome back to Vape City Reviews, and as you can see by the thumbnail, I'm really putting my head above the parapet here with this one. But sometimes in vaping, a product comes along and it just sticks, it stays. Um, by that I mean, if you go into a vape shop, probably any vape shop in the UK, you're going to find an Anakin T18 on the shelf. Just one of those products that works well, it's been marketed very well, and it's an old product. It's maybe 4 or 5 years old, but they're still selling so many of them every day just because of how good the product was. Then as things grew on with vaping, it became harder and harder for products like that to stick, that will stay on the shelves. The next one that came to mind was the Smock Alien. The Smock Alien, the dual battery 18650, sold hundreds of thousands. It was Smock's biggest seller ever. It was the start of the whole baby beast craze, but it was one of their biggest selling kits ever. And yeah, that moves me on to the Falcon King and the Falcon and the Freemax Mesh Pro, all fairly highly recognized as some of the best sub-ohm tanks out there on the market. The Aspire Odin is a great tank, the OFRF, the Raptor, maybe just not getting quite enough recognition as they should when compared to the others, but they're all sub-ohm tanks and they all do the same sort of thing. So when Dan Vape got in touch with me and showed me some images of their new sub-ohm tank, I was absolutely perplexed to see that they were able to find room for innovation, and innovation that's not just innovation for innovation's sake, innovation that's actually going to help better the performance of the tank. And that's why I have the thumbnail that I have. What I didn't mention down below, guys, is it's a 26mm width diameter. So if your mod only takes a 25mm, it's going to have a tiny bit of overhang, not very much, half a millimeter on each side. So a 25, a mod that will hold a 25 should be okay, but ideally you'll want a mod that will take a 26mm. But feeling all that, guys, going to go pop down below, then I'm going to come back up top and give you my final pros and cons on what I think is going to be the next best thing in vaping. Yes. Wee. Okay guys, here we are down below with the damn Vape Wotan Sub-ohm Tank. Now, as I explained up above, it's just so hard to come across innovation in tanks these days. I'm going to give you a better full opinion on this when we go back up and vape it, but this is what you're going to get in the box. This box is empty, but that is what the box will look like when you receive it. It does come pre-installed with this glass, and when you install the coil like such and screw it in, that's going to take it down to a 2 ml capacity, and that's going to be suitable for the TPD regions. Now, it does also come with a bubble glass which is hidden underneath the packing. That takes up to 5.5 ml, so 5.5 ml for the bubble glass. I do prefer the sort of, I prefer the straight glass, to be honest. Yeah, 2 ml is a bit of a pain in the butt, but I do prefer the straight glass if that was to be my preference. So, first thing, we'll go through the coils, because a little peripheral pouch, guys, you have spare O-rings and things like that, and a little instruction manual. Now, this thing is just far too important. We need to go straight into what this thing does different than all the other sub-ohm tanks out there. So here we have the coil. It's a 0.3 ohm coil, and it is a series Clapton mesh. Let me just double check that I've got that right. Yeah, so it's a Clapton mesh coil, and they are ohming out at 0.3 ohms, and it's the wattage is 75 to 85 watts. You can have the standard mesh, or you can use the Clapton mesh, and this is the coils here, and they're big beefy chunky coils. So this one's the single mesh, and this is the other one. This is the one I've been using. This should be the Clapton mesh. Yeah, Clapton mesh, and it's the same again. 75 to 85 watts, and I've been using this one about 3 days now, and it's still kicking away strong. So what is the big main difference? Well, these little things here. This is what is the difference, and this is what is giving this tank sensational flavour. So if you just want to use your coil like this, you can. Okay, it's your pin down there. You want to screw that down. It's going to screw in for you, and that is going to fire. That'll catch the fucking threads. Okay, it's going to fire, the air's going to come in there, and it's going to shoot right up through the bottom and give you a vape. Now it's going to be a very open vape, a very loose vape, and it's okay, but it's not stupidly flavourful. We then have this little thing here, okay, and it's like a wee cone with the 510 plate here, not the 510 plate, the gold contact plate at the bottom with some open holes on it. What you have to do then, if you want to use that, is to take out the bottom pin of your coil, like so, and then you're going to take this and you're just going to put it right up inside the bottom, and you want to push that in nice and tight and look down, and then you've got that cone inside the coil. Now as you draw air from here up and onto the bottom of the coil, it's not just going straight through the coil, it's having to come out of that cone. Okay, the air is going to come out of this cone, and it's going to smack that mesh 360 degrees wide the whole way around. And what that does for flavour, guys, it's going to be very hard for me to explain on camera what that does for flavour, but I'm going to make a big statement, but we'll do that when we get back up top. This one here will take it down even more. It'll give it a bit less airflow, but the flavour is just incredible. And it's the same again, the 510 pin, your normal standard pin is out of the coil, and then you can put this one up underneath. And again, if you see just down there, the air, when you take a vape, is going to go through that cone, and it's going to smack that mesh 360 degrees the whole way around, and it's going to give you an absolute abundance of flavour. So we're going to put the pin, the normal standard pin, back into this coil, just because we're not using that one. This is the coil that I'm currently using, and I have a pin installed. I actually have this one installed into this coil, okay, and this one I have used, but I prefer this one here. It's slightly more open, but that is what's sitting inside the used coil, and that's what we're going to be using when we take it up top. So let's screw the coil. We might as well put the tank together while we're here. So best between 75 watts and 80 watts. I've been using it at 70 watts quite comfortably, and it's a great vape at 70 watts, it really is. So hard to fill. 810 drip tip, by the way, guys. My fingers are greasy. See if we can get this off without that. Okay, guys, you're going to have to trust me. That is an 810 drip tip. My fingers are absolutely covered in e-liquid from handling that used coil, but it is an 810 drip tip. And little rubber gasket there on the base, and this is your locking mechanism. Two open ports just there, and this is where you're going to refill your tank from here and here. Now what I want to do, just while I've got it down below, because I'm running out of juice, I'm not even normally a big sub-ohmer, but using this thing the last 3 days, I've never came across something that is punching out so much flavour for a sub-ohm tank. It's almost unbelievable, and it's one of these tanks. You're just gonna need to try it. You're gonna need to try it. And look, everybody has their own opinion. Flavor is subjective, but I don't think anybody can deny how good the flavor that this tank is and how good the flavor it's putting out. We do have some airflow adjustments on the base. So if you see your 4 holes here, and then you have 4 holes there on the other side. If you want to change that. My hands are so greasy. You can take it down to 2 holes. Sorry, that's it. Completely closed off. You can 1 hole, 2 hole, 3 hole, 4 holes. Close it down to 2, and whatever you do on one side, that will be replicated on the other side. And then your 510 on the bottom. Wotan. Damn vape. Okay, guys. So that's basically it for the down below for the Damn Vape Wotan Sub-ohm Tank. What we're going to do now is take it back up top. We're going to vape on it, and I'll give you my final pros and cons of what I believe is going to be the next big thing in vaping. Yes. Okay, guys, there you have it. Back up top with the Damn Vape Wotan It's going to focus. Yay! Damn Vape Wotan Sub-ohm Tank. Did you think something like that was going to come onto the market? Inserts aren't a new thing. Inserts have been used in RTAs before to sort of reduce the amount of airflow coming through the chamber. And people always, what's going to change the vape of any sub-ohm tank or even an RTA or a buildable tank is the airflow and how that airflow interacts with the soaked cotton. And then how that goes up through the chimney to your mouth and how that vaporizes. That's going to depend. That's going to give you the flavour. Also, the likes of this Clapton mesh wire in here is also going to enhance that flavour. But them little cones, I've put them away. I've put them away. Them little cones that go up inside the coil, that's given the. So when you take a vape and it goes in through the bottom and then up, it's having to come out all them little holes around the cone, and it's smacking the mesh with all the air that you're drawn through. So when you're doing that, the air isn't being sucked in and then straight up to the 810 into your mouth. It's being sucked in up into this cone and then fired out towards the mesh wrap and the saturated coil, the saturated cotton, and then it's going to vaporize all that liquid and bring it on up to the top to the mouthpiece. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing what it's done for the flavour. Now, I've took the inserts out, put the coil in, turned the airflow down, and it's a nice vape. It's just like any other sub-ohm tank. But when you use the inserts, especially with this Clapton coil, oh my god, the flavour. And I will go out on a limb and say that I have never vaped anything, RTAs included, that's given me flavour like this tank's giving me right now. And I was never ever expecting to say that. I'm probably going to get a bit of backlash for this, but that's just my preference. I have not vaped on anything that's given me better flavour than this. And the whole inserts, that's what's making it. That is exactly because the flavour isn't as good without them inserts. With them inserts, it's just off the Richter scale. So I've got it at 75 watts. I'm doing the normal vapor production test. Yes, so let's give it a tune. And another thing I want to mention is that you get that satisfying crackling popping sound. It's not spitback. It's just inside in the workings of the coil. You can just hear it crackling and going, and it's just wonderful. $75 and it is superb. So we're going to take it up to its top recommended wattage. I actually haven't vaped it at 85 watts yet. 75 watts for me was just perfect, but 85 watts, let's see how this goes. That flavor, it's going to take something really special to beat the flavor coming out of this. I have sat here and built and worked rebuildable RTAs. I have primed plenty of sub-ohm tanks that have given me amazing flavor. I really don't know. I don't know how to give the damn vape Wotan as much praise as it deserves. I don't have the words to explain how good this flavor actually is. The flavors of that liquid, which is Rochford Project Black Vein, I'm still left with that flavor in my mouth. The flavor is so potent and so strong. It's just amazing. It's amazing. It really is amazing. I love mouth to lung vaping. I mouth to lung vape all day long, but the 3 days I've been testing this, it hasn't been out of my hand. The sheer amount of flavour is it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. Now I can't give you a length of time that the coils are going to last. I've only been vaping it 3 days, but I'm keeping this coil in and I'll update the comments below when it burns out to give you a rough idea of when the coil's going to go. The juice that I'm vaping is quite sweet, so if the coil goes in a week, you can sort of expect your coil then to go in a week as well. Guys, I'm recording. So I don't know how else and how much more praise I can give this thing, but all I will say is when you see the damn Vape Wotan go on sale, if you're into your sub-ohm tanks and you're wanting to chase flavour, you are not going to find a tank that's going to provide better flavour than this using the inserts. It's a restrictive vape, but the flavour is like nothing I have vaped before. From a company that I have never reviewed a product for. This is the first product I've ever reviewed for Damn Vape. I'd heard of them as a company. They reached out to me last week, about a week and a half ago, and they got this sent out pretty sharpish. They sent me a couple of boxes of coils, which I'm very grateful for because I'm going to continue the vape on this. It looks really well on the SL class. It comes in a black, silver, or gunmetal, and the gunmetal's really lovely looking as well. But it's just a flavour machine, absolute flavour machine, guys, and it gets my full recommendation. I cannot fault this tank in the slightest. Cannot fault it in the slightest. The coils, I mean, what they could have included, made the coils. Like here's a box of coils here. Now, the coils don't come with the inserts. You have to. Okay, that's the way they come. Nothing else in the box. So you got to remember when you chuck your coil, make sure you take that insert out. So maybe it's keeping costs down. These would be a lot more expensive if they had to include some inserts with them, and I can fully understand that. So when your coil's done, just try and remember, I mean, take your insert out and put it into your next coil. So maybe that's a tiny little con, but the flavour just overrides absolutely everything. This is the most flavour I've ever got from a sub-ohm tank. It's the most flavour I've ever got from an RTA. I'm really looking forward to see what the other reviewers make of this tank and to see if they have had the same experience as me. I have fallen in love with it. I hope it stays on shop shelves. I really hope that Damn Vape can get the marketing done for this, because I firmly believe that this is going to be one of those kits, one of those tanks, one of them pieces of vape equipment that stays on the market for a long time. Look how well the Falcon's doing. Look how well the Mesh Pro's doing. And look how well the Inigan T18's doing. You know, these kits stay on shop shelves for a reason because they work, and they work very, very well. This tank, I just hope to God enough people get to try it and enough people get to vape it that it becomes extremely popular and hangs around for a long time, because it's going to be a long time before something else gets close to the flavour that's putting out. I can't gush any more about it, so I'm just going to end it there, guys. So thanks for taking the time to watch this all the way to the end. I'd like to extend my thanks to Damn Vape for sending out the samples free for the purpose of this review, and for you guys watching this all the way to the end. What are we on? We're probably on about a 15-20 minute review here, but it deserves all the praise that it gets. If you get one yourself, guys, comment down below. Let me know what you have made of it, and if your experience has been as enjoyable as mine. Thanks again, guys, and hope you all have a bloody awesome day. Have a good one. Take care, and bye. Wee.